My name is Chef Jess, and this is my All-American Masterclass. I'm going to show you my top American classics, my absolute favorite dishes, which brings back nostalgia and wonderful child memories for me. So after studying at culinary school in Switzerland, I went to work from some best hotels in the world, including the Ritz Hotel in London and the Four Seasons in Manhattan, before moving into private chefing and teaching, which is one of my favorite things to do. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now, so let's get started. In this episode, I'm going to show you my Guinness Mac and Cheese. It is one of my favorite dishes, and absolutely favorite for my nephew. He loves mac and cheese. He's actually in the Marines, and before he left, he asked me to make this dish for him. So I am going to make you one of the favorite ones. It is an easy, simple dish, and we are going to start with some pasta. Nice sharp cheddar cheese. You can also do a triple cheese. It's kind of up to you what your favorite is, but today I like that extra sharp because we're going to put some Guinness in it, which is so good. It gives it nice rich creamy flavor, and then you have that sharpness from the cheese, and then we're going to add a little bit of cream. So you can make this as cheesy as you want, as creamy as you want. What's so great about this dish? So let's get started. What we're going to do is we are going to heat up some Guinness. What you want to do is heat up your pan, put some Guinness in, and you want to warm everything through because you want your cheese to start melting as soon as you put it in your pot. So we have a little bit of Guinness. I'm going to put some milk in here. And you want to use whole milk, because if you don't use whole milk, then you need that extra fat so it doesn't break down when you heat it, when it starts to get really hot. You want it to stay nice and creamy and delicious. And you can smell that Guinness starting to heat up. It's just like, has this nice aroma of like coffee and like earthiness that's going to add to the sharp cheddar. And instead of making a bechamel, which is made with, you basically make a roux and a milk, I'm going to do a little bit of cornstarch, and you just kind of fold it in with this nice cheddar cheese. And you use about 3 tablespoons to the cheese that I'm using here, and it's 3 cups of cheddar cheese. And you just want to get it a nice white dusting. As you can see, we're getting a nice little coating, and this helps thicken your sauce, but doesn't add that weight to it, which is good because you're going to have that nice richness from that Guinness. And you also got to save that Guinness for you to enjoy with your mac and cheese. So once you get that all in there, we're going to get this a little bit higher on the heat here. And as you can see, it's warming up. Turn it up a little bit. It's still cold. So now that I'm heating this up, we don't want it to go boiling. We just want it to be nice and a simmer to it before we add all the cheese. And what I'm also going to add once the cheese gets going is a little mustard, and which is the Coleman's mustard, which I really like. It has a great flavor. It's ground. It gives it a little more extra kick with the cheese. Some salt and pepper, and I will finish it with a little bit of cream. So once this heats up a bit, we're going to add the cheese, and you want to slowly melt it. You don't want to melt it too fast because you don't want the cheese to burn. So you're going to add the cheese in here. There we go. And you just want to slowly let that cheese heat up, and you can now smell like a nice creamy, sharp cheddar. Oh, you can also turn this into a great fondue if you want, with some cheese and veggies. It's kind of up to you. What's great about this cheese recipe is that it is, you can do it with a bunch of different things. You can make it into a fondue. You can save it and pour it over nachos. It's really good over nachos, or definitely with pasta. So that's what we're gonna do, our favorite. So we're gonna just let this slowly heat up, because you don't want to rush it. You just want it to start melting slowly, like if you were melting chocolate over it and you see the chocolate starting to slowly melt. That's the same thing that you want to do with the cheese. So you're just going to let this kind of slowly melt. And as that's melting, you're gonna start smelling all those flavors come together. You have that nice cheddar smell. You have that nice Guinness smell. Just makes you wanna sit down and have a little pint before this gets all done, and then have one when you finish. You always have to enjoy your food with everyone that you want to serve with. So now that this is melting down, we're kind of get it there. And what you want to do is once you get your pasta, you can do your pasta at the same time as you're doing it, but I did it ahead of time just to save some time. You want to cook your pasta till al dente. You don't want it fully cooked all the way through, because if you do that, then your pasta's going to be too soft. And you don't want mushy mac and cheese. That's just terrible. You want a nice, full flavor, nice browned bite when you're doing it. As you can see, it's coming together like that. Look at that. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? And you want to turn down that fire so it's not too high. So you don't want it to burn. So once it gets to that melting point, you want to try your sauce. See, check the salt and pepper flavor, because you always want to have a little bit of pepper and salt. Just like that. A little pinch of salt. And a little bit of that mustard. And then I'm going to whisk that in. Or you can stir it in. And just make sure there's no lumps in there, and make it nice and smooth. So you're just whisking that in. Look at that. See how it comes together, nice and thickens up? That's the cornstarch. So you have look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? So let's try the sauce and make sure that it has enough salt and pepper and yummy goodness. Look at that. That is delicious. I'm gonna add a little more salt. And at this point, you want to turn your burner off, because you don't want the cheese to continue cooking. You just want to get that cheese to that nice flavor. As you can see, it's just perfect, nice, creamy, smooth. And then you're going to add your pasta. This is when you switch back to your spoon. And then if it's too thick, you always reserve a cup of the pasta water so that you can thin it out, and it helps stay together and you get that nice flavor. Looky there. It's just coating that pasta perfectly. And as you can see, I did a little al dente so the pasta's holding together, because it's going to continue cooking as it's mixing into this cheese. Looky there. I'm going to add a little bit of that pasta water because it is a bit thick, and that's an easy fix. So you just put a little bit in there. And that pasta water has a little bit of starch in there, so it helps it stay together, but gives it a little more smooth creaminess. It's not as thick. Roll that right in there. Look at that. Does that not look delicious? So yummy. And as you can see, this is a little more cheesy, nice creamy cheesy. I'm gonna add nice little cream here just to finish off that flavor, because my nephew likes it more creamy than cheesy. And I like it more cheesy than creamy. So if you're cooking for your nephew, you kind of go with what he wants, because he is in the military right now. He just finished boot camp, and he can have any meal he wants when he comes home. It's kind of my thing. I like to spoil my niece and nephews with whatever I can cook. So if they want to come down, we're making cookies, we're making mac and cheese, we're making steak. So let's try this out. Let me grab a fork. Always test before you serve to make sure all your flavors are delicious and together. Oh my gosh. See that pasta? It turned out, still has a tiny bit of bite, but it's not overcooked, and it holds together. Oh my gosh. This is yummy. If you were here right now, you would be smelling this sharp cheddar, rounded Guinness flavor with a little bit of pasta, and it is just delicious. So what you want to do is turn it into a nice little dish here, and you have just served the perfect mac and cheese. So this is my famous Guinness Mac and Cheese. Super simple comfort food, ideal for any time of the day. I hope you enjoy it. Bye for now.